Welcome. This is Barry Jones from the Angel School, and we're here for our weekly angel reading for December 22nd through the 28th, 2020. So before we begin, I'd like to welcome everyone, and in particular our new subscribers and any of you who are watching the channel for the very first time. We welcome you, and we welcome you with open heart and invite you to join in with your own heart, adding to this collective experience of divinity. And so as we get into the final weeks, and this is the final full week of the year, just want to make you aware of some of the things that are going on the channel, and before we sort of get into the messages for this week. So number one, if you haven't had a chance to check out the monthly angel scope, which are 12 videos I've posted for each zodiac sign. They're posted on my channel here on YouTube. You can find them through Twitter as well as my Facebook page, and those links are below. Also, we have daily card messages Monday through Friday. And this week, I probably will continue them, but I'm probably will stop them for the holidays. So just be aware of that, and then we'll be returning with them in the first weeks of January. So, but they are always posted, and they'll be posted until they stop for the holidays, which you can find on the community board of this of the YouTube channel, and also on my Facebook page. And I think they are also posted through Twitter as well. So there's those places where you can find those written card messages for the angels from the angels for Monday through Friday. And then finally, just making you aware that the special offer is still available, and probably will be available in January, but it's available now for sure. And you can get my half-hour reading for $77 for 1 full hour. Okay, so you would just go to my my website, theangelschool.com, on the service page, and there's a link below, and you would select the half-hour reading as is, and within 24 hours on business days, I will send you a confirmation email indicating the special offer and that the half-hour reading is for 1 full hour. Okay, that's $77 reading. You can get this reading anytime this month if you wanted to get it now and then, so that you can book it for any time in the future if you get them now. Okay, so there's no time limit at all on a reading that's purchased with me. And then if you are former client, or if you had readings with me recently before, there's no limit. You can still, as long as this is available, it's available to everybody who this would really support. So this has just been something I've been offering since the pandemic, to allow people to be able to afford to work with me. So, all right, so let's take a deep breath. And now, let's take a deep breath together. And then release. And just really take the moment to just be aware of the joy that resides in your heart flame. And you might want to see it blazing as a beautiful pink energy, almost like a pink lotus flower with beautiful, brilliant green leaves on the outer edges and beautiful pink, shades of pink, and moving to the center, a luminous white light. And just see and sense and be aware of the peace and the joy and the beauty and the splendor of your soul. And there, sort of a crystal is sort of emerging from almost like a generator crystal that's emerging from the center. And you are invited to take this crystal, this energetic crystal, and just allow it to orbit throughout your aura. It's clear quartz crystal. And allow it to just collect. It's being programmed to purge, to clear any lower frequencies. And the angels are surrounding you. And as this occurs, and your frequency starts to feel lighter, and some sort of goddess-like energy is stepping forward, and she's actually just carrying you. It reminds me of, it's probably Mother Mary. It reminds me of the Pietà, where she holds Jesus after in her arms, that beautiful scene that is so often depicted. And it's a sense that Mother Mary is carrying you and holding you now. Because this year we've seen and endured a lot of suffering and agony and pain over so many things, personally and globally. And it's as if she's assuring you in this transition that now that you're surrendering, and during this period of surrender, if you can allow yourself to just let go of struggling, the need to struggle with any of this any longer. Because the point at which we are now, we don't have to do this anymore. It's really been paid forward, so to speak, and it's been taken care of by the universe and by your angels. And as they ask that you surrender and that you allow them to carry you, that does not mean that you are not going to be responsible for your life. This is not their purpose. But they can help support you and carry your burdens, to help to relieve you of the need to carry them yourself. It's almost like there's an addictive connection. And the ego, the way that it solely operates is on the premise of addiction. So you may not realize it, but we are addicted to our suffering. We're addicted to the causes behind the things that cause us to suffer. And lack is the essential addiction of the ego, because we fear And this is where fear comes. I always say that lack is the foundation underneath fear. And the ego uses lack to draw you into worry, your concerns and your worries. It draws you, it uses this to distract you from your divine life purpose. It distracts you from being proactive. It distracts you from realizing that you can create your reality and that you are creating your own reality based on where you choose to focus. And I don't want to sound as though the ego is plotting against you, because it's not. It sabotages you, but not because it's plotting against you. This is what it understands that it needs to do in order to protect itself, its own self-interest, which is that it's scared of the light. It's scared of the expansion of you, that every experience creates enlightenment, and that enlightenment expands and causes you to want to expand and to improve and to perfect and move beyond what you already are. And the ego is just afraid of trying to catch up with all of that. It believes in lack. It believes in its own lack. And that's why it has to pretend, to project illusions, to project these airs that it's bigger than it is because of its own insecurity. And that lack is the foundation of that. And so we can become addicted to our own ideas of how we are lacking or what is lacking in our lives. And that keeps us from thinking about what we can create, what we can build better into our lives. And this is not to really criticize by what I'm about to say, but it is something for us to be aware of as we think about the new path forward from what we've experienced in this year. So our world has been literally crippled by this crisis. Our government and our democracies and all kinds of things have been crippled. Various institutions have been crippled. And what this has allowed us to see is where those weaknesses were in our foundation, where those ego, self-interest that were not of pure integrity, how they somehow were mixed into the mortar of our foundations and all of these various things. And so we don't want to make America great again, or, for example, or build back better, because all of that is about using that foundation without actually recognizing or acknowledging where the cracks, where these strands of ego exist. So we really need to start with a new foundation. And the only way that that new foundation is really going to be established is that we have to, what this year I've been told by Archangel Jeremiah and Archangel Nathaniel, whose name means the gifts of God, is that this is going to be a life review period. So this year, 2021, will begin, and this life review period is about being aware of our spiritual integrity. So it's about really being aware of where we have not been walking our truth. This has been something, so the energy is shifting, and the new paradigm and the fifth dimensional frequencies is forcing now all of the the shadow aspects to the surface so that they can be acknowledged and dealt with and cleared out. So in that purge, this gives us the opportunity to see the truth. We have a new awareness. These new frequencies gives us greater awareness, greater insight, greater connection with our I am presence and with our truth and purpose, our soul contracts. And we will succeed victoriously in accomplishing these things. But they will seem very, it will seem as though things are getting heated up. And the chaos is, and it is a signal of the healing. The chaos is not a signal that from your ego that you're going to lose control of everything and that your life is going to be this negative output or full of failure, or that our world and our all of us collectively will somehow screw everything up. The idea of these two slogans that I was mentioning earlier, it says like, oh, we want to go back, because that's what the ego wants. It always wants to go back to what it knows, where it feels safe. But those places weren't safe for any of us, and especially for certain groups of people, but really all of us. Because when there is no security for some of us, then it creates in all of us a sense of not being safe. And then we all really behave insanely, right? It makes us insane. We do things that we shouldn't do. We harbor feelings that we shouldn't. We act in ways that are shameful and ways that create regrets, and we create, some of us, actions that are what people would term evil. It's a vicious cycle. So if none of us are safe, if only some of us are safe, truly none of us are. And the insanity that we perceive will just really undo us. So the chaos right now is something that we shouldn't be afraid of, because I've been told many times, especially in the past, that chaos or change is a vehicle. It's like a wheel. It's like being in a car. And when your soul asks from the contrast that you're living, and you see what you do not like, your soul asks for what it needs. And that vehicle to get your prayer request to you is change and chaos. And it means that we're not being complacent, what the chaos represent. We're not being complacent. We're not allowing ourselves to live with the foundations that are corrupt for us. Meaning that it has a virus in it. Think about that for a moment. So I'm not saying that the universe created these things, but we are powerful. We have created these things, but they are there to help us. Nothing is ever done for evil, but it's done to help remind us and to give us an opportunity to help us to see that we have this opportunity to make better choices that benefits all of us. And so one of the things that's really important is, as we go through this year of life review and, integrity, it's also about moving beyond our self-interest. That's the ego, and move into what is always been known as service, a service that benefits the highest good for all. So another aspect of this in our spiritual work and in our soul contracts at this time is moving from the ego, which is all about self-preservation and protecting our self-interest, and moving towards and opening our hearts to service of others for the highest good. And so that's where we will build better. That is the foundation of building better for our future. And this is why the events that will unfold starting in this period, and I'm not sure if this is a period that's going to be accomplished in a year. So that's why I keep saying period, but it definitely is something that I'm getting from the angels that will start and there it was just now, the clock, it was 21:21, for 2021. So it's something that's starting in the year of 21:21. Well, of course it's not 21:21, but 2021, but the clock just went 21:21. So that was very interesting. So that just confirms that for me. So there's some layers here. So be aware, and as you're thinking about building better in your own life, that your purpose, and you will find more strength. Because as I've said, I don't think the chaos is going to diminish, because it is a part of the healing process. And when you and I acknowledge that, we find peace immediately within the eye of the storm, which gives us the ability to direct the power of the storm in a way that serves the highest good. So when you think about your own personal journey, and you think about what your purpose is at this time, extend it beyond just your own concerns, as this will empower you and give you strength. Because many of us, when we focus on ourselves, feel very weak, and we don't feel that we can champion, our own causes. And then this causes all those brilliant gifts that you have to just sort of regress and sort of shut down and not, just kind of atrophy, not be used at all. And the thing in helping others and serving others for the greater good, your juices, your passions, your joy, your strength, your conviction, it bursts through those clouds of illusion, and you are a powerful activation of your own divinity. And that's the goal, is to all of this that is happening and what it's been doing, especially in the past year and years especially, but it's been activating, waking us, every soul up, because every soul is here for this purpose. Even though we appear to be on different sides, we are not, because there's only the network of oneness. And so we have to stop seeking out and looking for blame, and start looking at what you can do. What are the solutions that are within you? This is where you're going to find your energy. This is where your energy is going to come back to you, and it's going to reboot you, because you are now connecting into the new paradigm of these fifth dimensional frequencies, which are available to you in abundance. But that old paradigm of fear It's not there. It's it's sort of on its last legs, like a car that goes. That's the amount of energy that it has. And when you tap into that by seeking to take sides and blame and not be a part of the solution, you're going to feel like that. So notice, and this isn't, don't get concerned about your health, but notice what you're feeling like as an indication that you need to change course. You need to get it in a better vehicle. And the fifth dimensional frequency is pristine automobile sort of technology, soul technology. And I mean by automobile, meaning the vehicle for your soul, right? This energy that carries us. So this is where we need to be, and be aware of the contrast as not being the cause for something outside of you, but being the cause of how you're utilizing your tools, your gifts. All right, so I'd love to keep talking about this, and maybe this might be what we'll do with the live chat. So I've mentioned to be kind of aware. I may just pop up with a live chat, and to make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and that you click the all notification bell, and like the channel as well, because that helps with the algorithms. But really, so that if we do this and really feeling like the need to do this and to talk more about this, than the time we have here. So look at our Archangel message for the week is nurture. And it's Archangel Gabriel. And this is also appropriate for this week, we often think of the Archangel Gabriel bringing the message about the Christ child. And so it's kind of appropriate for this time of the year. But the message says that you nurture a child, you nurture your own inner child. Both activities are important for you right now. So Archangel Gabriel's name means the strength of God. And one of the things is that I feel like first of all, just looking at this picture, they want you to know that the angels are surrounding you at this time. And this is really going to be a time to really nurture yourselves and to be aware that the things that are going to be triggered within you is because the higher frequencies are pushing everything to the surface. So you might want to throw a tantrum, and that might be okay for a little bit. No problems with that. But just be aware of, acknowledging what you're learning and what insights you're gathering from this, and how you can turn that into this aspect of you that needs to be healed. How can you look at this and really see it as a signal for preparing you for being, and even tapping into what other people might be going through, because we so often forget, especially when we're talking about the other sides of the aisle or the people who disagree with us, that we forget that every one of us has something that we are suffering with, and that this suffering is also something that we, again, as I said earlier, that we're addicted to our suffering. And that may seem a little cold to put it that way, but it's just something that really I've been working with Archangel Jeremiel. It's been coming in, and Archangel Nathaniel, and it's like they just had this thought yesterday, and I didn't think I would be able to remember it all, and I still don't. But what I said to you earlier was the gist of it, and I had this realization, of how I'm addicted to this lack, and how it creates. I mean, we all know this, how it creates. Manifest in our behaviors and interactions with other people, but we don't need to focus on what we're lacking when we can focus on what our strengths are. And this is oversimplifying that conversation that they had with me, really oversimplifying it. But there are gifts in what we've been through. We can turn it into that. And again, I think you will find this path through through service for all, moving beyond our own interest and moving towards the highest good for all as service is going to be key for nurturing another side, another aspect of you that is truly real and that has integrity. And that is to say that it's time to nurture our God given gifts and talents, our God consciousness, the God codes, instead of the ego's code, which is about lack and blaming and shaming, etc., etc. All right. A little bit too long on that, but it's really important. Okay, so let's take a look at the card for the beginning of the week. All right, so we have the Eight of Wands, and this is, just really indicating delays over. So that, that in this week in particular, but this is something that, meaning that you're not going to get stuck, okay? I feel like you're going to have a lot of clarity, a lot of insights in these things that come up for you that are pushed to the surface. It's going to be a very rapid process. It's the interaction is going to be, it's not going to be like, oh God, and you get stuck. You're going to, it's going to come up. It's going to activate your soul's wisdom, and you're going to sort of like see, oh my goodness, and really be able to all of a sudden feel empowered by what you've learned, and get in a sense where you're ready to turn it into really turn it into a purpose, and be where you're focused and you're sort of really in action mode. Okay, so you might just really have been feeling on a sort of day-to-day mundane level. You may just have, maybe you were feeling stuck about something, or you were just sort of stuck in this mindset, and then what you kind of discover or have this, feeling all of a sudden of just being able to sort of knock things down, like just carry out things and just get things done, okay? So at the beginning of the week, you are going to really have these insights that just allows you to get a lot of things done, okay? In the middle of the week, we've come back. This card has been really sort of following us, stalking us, right? And, it's important because we have some really important decisions to make. And we have a tendency to get stuck because we want what we want. We want everything, and it's okay to want everything, but it's more important for you to know or ask the question, what, sometimes we sit and say, well, what's the right, should I go this path or should I do this? But the thing is, because you're thinking about the long-term goals, right? But think about what's important, what's the important decision for this moment, not just for the future moments. And I think that's what creates a lot of our confusion when we're trying to make important decisions and how we get gridlocked, because we keep thinking about the outcome, because we're more concerned about our own self-interest. Like, what are we going to gain? But what is the right choice for this moment? And move to the idea of what will serve the highest good for all in this moment, right now. And that decision is going to become easier, okay? And allow you to make better decisions and get more things done, okay? All right, and let's take a look at the card for the end of the week, and we have the Princess of Swords. So this is would be the page, and all the page are there's something that they're learning, right? And the this suit they're seekers of the truth. They are great communicators. They like for you to be clear, transparent, get to the point, no emotional stuff, and getting bogged down and all these mushies, right? So this is really calling you to now. The way to get clear is to start speaking your truth, right? Start trusting, start trusting what you know, and to also really be clear. So when you're not being clear, be aware of that and be more direct and be more clear. And so this is something that you're going to be working on. And that's what we were talking about earlier in terms of on that greater spiritual level, you know, in the idea of integrity. And this requires us to now be more open, be more honest, and to really make sure that our principles align with the greater good and align with our spiritual truth and its integrity. You know, being more authentic. All right. It will help you to know what's in the, for your best and highest good right now, and will help you to stop experiencing those delays. So it seems like that, that as you practice this sort of integrity and being clearer and being more authentic and true to yourself, that you will know what decisions the right path is for you for this moment, not for the long term, but for this moment, because you always get to choose. And you'll find that you'll have fewer delays, and you'll find that you're less triggered, because these triggers come because we're afraid. We regress to a memory or an experience in the past where we're doing the best that we knew how. I mean, come on, especially when we're kids, how much enlightenment do you have? And so you get stuck at that point where you first realized that you failed at something. And maybe for some people, they never get over it, or it kept happening because, a big deal was made out of it. And so we don't have to be stuck in those places. It's about, a new practice, right? So instead of, when you find yourself complaining, because that's a distraction of the ego, or you find yourself, blaming people or whatever, be aware of that, and then stop, look and listen, stop doing that, right? Then listen, then look for another way to deal with that, or look for the solution instead, and then listen to the advice, the guidance that the angels give to you. All right, so look at the card from the bottom of the deck. All right, so this is the Magician card. And so we could look at this as the shadow coming from the bottom of the deck, or what's influencing you. So, as an influence, this is saying that you have the magic. You have the power to create your reality. You are in control here, and always have been on this level. And what you may, as a shadow, is that you may not give yourself enough credit. You may not acknowledge this enough so that you feel this, you feel triggered by new opportunities, whether it's a job or some change that comes up in your life. You're more triggered by it than you are satisfied by it. And so you have to work on being more focusing on your truth and focus on your light. Focus where you do have trust. Focus where you do feel powerful, where you do feel adequate. Focus there as a way of not practicing those emotional triggers. That is not the way to nurture yourself, right? And they're right in the word engage or engagement. So try to find ways to engage your your gifts. Try to find a way to engage with the world in the way that you feel safe and you feel powerful. And I don't know if engagement was also something that but there might be an engagement. And I get the sense, just go for it, okay? And it was a word that passed, but I don't see it anymore and I can't remember. Um, and then I forgot the second one that I saw. They flash words in front of me, and I'd have this short memory sometimes. It's like, wow. Yeah, but so just really, you know, tune in, be open to the possibilities, you know, be open to the possibilities and focus on where you are sure as a way to just build up this muscle of knowing your truth and acknowledging that truth. So be gentle with yourself, because you are, learning to do this. We've been operating in that old paradigm forever. So don't make a big deal about this. Don't beat yourself up when you have your little moment, okay? Don't do that. Give yourself a break. See, that's the whole point. Give yourself a break. And when you do that, that's that surrender to Mother Mary. Surrender. Surrender to the love. And allow her to strengthen you, to hold you, and to remind you of all of your gifts, to help you to start experiencing and feeling the opportunities that are bubbling up within you, that are rising to the surface. But this card says that you have the gifts, that you're ready to put them to use. So don't get stuck in thinking about what you can't do. All right? All right, so I send you lots of love and angel blessings, and wish you a beautiful holiday week and season. A Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, all of these things, and a Happy New Year. And I'll see you next week. God bless you. And I can't remember it. Oh my God. And this is embarrassing. There's another holiday I'm forgetting to acknowledge. This is why I should only say Happy Holidays. I can't remember it. Okay, but please don't charge it to my head, as they used to say, and not to my heart. God bless you.